My name is Jake Dell. I'm the 5th generation owner here at Katz's Delicatessen on the Lower East Side of New York City. We've been here for 132 years and counting. All the food that we do is exactly the same way as it would have been done in 1888. We carry on that food tradition and that legacy, that deli tradition that you don't see as much nowadays. That was really commonplace in the way that pizza or bagels are really common now. Delis were everything. Delis were everywhere, and they were an integral part of Jewish immigrant culture in the early 20th century. We do classic deli food, includes pastrami and corned beef, pickles, matzo ball soup, latkes. A lot of the deli tradition comes from preserving meats and making sure they don't go bad and making sure they taste good. What better way to do that than pickling it with salt and smoking it and all those wonderful techniques that they learned in the old country and applied to the new world and the meats that were available here. I grew up here in the deli, literally. I mean, I had birthday parties here, I had my bar mitzvah here in the store, and I'm happy to be a part of this tradition and to carry it on. I think it's a special, unique place, and that nostalgia and that tradition is something that means so much to so many people. It means something to not just a Lower East Side community or to a Jewish community, but to a New York City community at large, and it's something really special that I'm really proud of. So a lot of my customers really range. I mean, we get everyone you can imagine. All New Yorkers come here, firefighters to politicians to Wall Street people to Staten Island to the Bronx and everything in between. We get all of our regular New Yorkers. But beyond that, we also get now tourists from all over the world who are excited to learn about this food tradition, to be a part of it, and even people who are second, third generation tourists now as well, who are being brought here because their parents or grandparents brought them here as well. We started in 1888 by the Iceland family. Shortly after that, the Katz family got involved and bought out the Iceland family. We started here in the original store back in the 20s, and everything that you see behind me right now was actually just an empty lot. And that's where we kept our barrels of meat and barrels of pickles just right on the street. In 1946, we started construction and finished in 49 after World War II. And the store has looked like this since that time, since 1949. If you look at some of those neon signs, those are from the 50s. Some of those beers don't exist anymore. I mean, this place is a relic. It's a snapshot in time and different snapshots in time all in one. From the table and the food, when you look at that juicy pastrami and the bread and the mustard coming down, that's a snapshot from the 1880s. You see the different way that the deli has morphed in little ways to keep up with each decade, but at its core has not changed. And that's the beauty of this place. Some of our most popular items are, on Hanukkah, we'll sell about 3,000, 4,000 latkes in a day, or matzo ball soup will sell a couple thousand. But the consistent regular nowadays is the pastrami more than the corned beef. It outsells it about 2 to 1. If you'd asked me this about 10, 15 years ago, it'd be about 2 to 1 the other direction. So pastramis, we sell about 20,000 pounds a week, depending on the week, depending on the season. Could be more, could be less. Every piece of pastrami is made the exact same way. It's cured for 3 to 4 weeks in a nice salt bath. That's the classic preservation technique, right? Salt makes things last and it gives it a nice flavor, a nice base. The meat, it breaks it down nicely. Then it's smoked. Real pastrami is a navel cut, and that navel has the fat right in the inside of the pastrami. So when you smoke it, you get a lot of that fat coming out to the ends, and it really distributes the flavor throughout. The rub that's on the outside, that salt, that pepper, that coriander, that garlic, gives it a nice coating and a beautiful pop of flavor when you put it in your mouth. The pastrami is then boiled, it's steamed, and every piece is cut by hand. It is cooked so long, so juicy, so tender that it would literally fall apart if you ran it through a slicer. This is the old way to do it. It's the real way to do it. It's the only way we do it. When we take the meat out of the steam pot, it's so hot, so tender. You gotta split open this meat. There's a little pocket in the middle that's a little inedible. It takes years of training to really know how to do this, and we practice on bread and on pickles and years of knife training to be able to know how to carve through a pastrami. So we split it open, take out that middle section, and then we start slicing. against the grain, nice thin, as thin as possible slices to really bring out flavor. And then, you gotta add the mustard. The mustard complements it perfectly. Mustard, which we make ourselves, it's simple. It's mustard seeds. That's it. That's all you need from mustard. It's bringing out that pop of flavor that complements the coriander and the garlic so well. There's only one way to eat a pastrami, and that's on rye. The reason that we use rye is because it's a stronger bread. It holds up better. If you were to use something garbage like white bread, it falls apart. But rye is traditional with it. Some use seeds, some don't use seeds. We do seedless rye. Comes with pickles, full sour and half sour pickles, which complement it, wash your palate down a little bit so you can take that nice, beautiful bite. And also at the end of the meal, the pickles traditionally wash it down. They help you digest. And you really understand that better when you're done eating a pastrami sandwich. There's something about it that brings you joy. It flushes your cheeks and makes you happy. And that's because, 150 years ago, we realized that's what you got to do. And so we still do that today. You have the heaviness of the meat and the lightness of the spices. It's that perfect bite. It makes your mouth melt looking at it. It makes your mouth melt while you're eating it. You fall apart as you're taking a bite of it, and you're transported back to 1888. And you get reconnected to everyone who's ever eaten a sandwich before you and everyone who will after you.